Now what I'm doing here is just filtering some tails. I took that jug here off the back of a stripping run that I did recently. You can see the tail end of the stripping run was pretty hot and nasty. It was, if you can focus on that, the camera, there's all sorts of fusel oils and crap in there. Now that everything's cooled down, you see second suspension there, it's pretty nasty. Now it's all cooled down, that's come out of solution. So what I'm doing is just running it through a coffee filter. I actually need to get bigger coffee filters. Those are only little baby ones. I need to get ones that are about a foot diameter that fill up. There's some more of those that fill up the stainless funnel there. Running it through there just to quickly filter out the fusel oils, and it's just going to go under the still here. All it does is I could tip them straight in, but all this does is give it a bit of a head start in terms of cleanliness and just making sure the product that's going through the still and being spirit run is just a bit nicer, a bit cleaner, and the end product will be a bit cleaner. It does, well, from my point of view, it does make a bit of a difference there. But just filtering the stuff, I mean, this is the same product as this. It's just run through a coffee filter. It just cleans it up, takes the stuff out of suspension. Hey guys, just doing a spirit pass here with the thumper. Got a bit of an extra extension on there with the copper column there for maybe get a little bit of, there's no packing in it, maybe get a little bit of reflux in there, just a bit more purity. But basically it's running as a pot still with a thumper on it, and the old Wim coil there, flake stand. Just started taking product. The kettle and the thumper have both got material in there that's around 30 to 40%. And started taking product, and we're sitting on 80 ABV. I don't know if that's going to focus. Maybe not. Yeah, sitting on 80 ABV anyway. I'm just running it nice and slow. Got some bigger filters there for the funnel, and it's running at about half power. In the bottom of the kettle there, and yeah, 80 ABV starting, and the thumper tends to act like give you a bit of reflux, if you like, rather than just constantly tapering off like a normal pot run. That, in my experience, that the thumper there helps do more of a constant output for a while before the tails end of the run starts tanking. So it holds up more of a constant alcohol output. So we'll see how long that sits on 80 before it starts dropping off. So it's started running off the spirit run. Coming off fairly slow. It's to do with the spirit run, but the temperature's slightly risen because the flake stand's heated up a bit. So rather than being absolutely bone cold, it's getting towards sort of tepid sort of temperature. The actual alchemimeter would have been calibrated for, and lo and behold, look at that focus. We're sitting on 85 now, so the true reading was about 85 thereabouts, 85 ABV with the correction for the temperature, which is pretty cool. Just out of a pot still with a thumper. Well, I had to turn the thing off last night to go and pick up my daughter and do some running around. So I'm starting it again. Nice slow stripping run. Ideally you just do the one and done. I don't like stopping and starting. Actually this has been stopped and started twice now. What I had to do was I drained the thumper. Thumper was getting quite full, about, I don't know, 3/4 full. So I drained it back, so it's just a little bit in the bottom there. And started again, topped the kettle back up out of the thumper. and that can run. I'm just going to run it until it's done now. Today I started nice and early. Cool thing, I checked what the material in the thumper was up to when I took it out and put it back in the kettle. She's sitting on 65% ABV, which is pretty cool. It's been through several distillations at that stage. It tastes actually quite nice, but it was due to be evaporated off again and come out here as 80%. But yeah, it's a reasonable nice product for a sugarhead whiskey wash. It's a mixture of sugarhead corn wash and sugarhead barley wash in there. She wasn't too bad. Would have been really interesting to see where it could have got to with having two thumpers set up, twin thumpers for a spirit pass. Rather than 80%, I may have got closer to 90, which is cool for a vodka or something. Well, not, usually you use reflux for a vodka, but just for this configuration, getting that high would be quite cool. Still lots of flavour left in this stuff, which is what you aim for with a whiskey or something. So. This is the bit I love. A thumper starting to do its thumper talk. That's the vapour coming out through the column down here, and it's coming down the tube and coming out right at the bottom of the thumper here. And the liquid level's up to about here, or started about here in the thumper. So it's just heating up the liquid in the bottom of the thumper there, and once it gets up to temperature here, about 78, 80 degrees, that will start vaporising what's in there. Come out here, down the worm coil and out into the parrot. You can see on the pid here with the vapour temperature right at the top of the column here. Down on the pid is, it just got picked up to 79, it was sitting on 78. And it will stay there. I've got the pid driving up to 95, or attempting to drive up to 95 degrees. In the kettle here, the vapour at the top of the kettle. But I've got the elements crippled down to 60% power, so it will only be able to do that very, very slowly. So I'll get a nice full run out of that, and then this guy here acts as its own governor, tends to hold 78 degrees while there's alcohol coming out of it. And here's almost the first jug. We're just coming up to 24 and a bit litres there. It's still coming off here at, it's reading about 83% ABV, but that's coming out quite cold, so there's a bit of a correction there, so it's possibly closer to 90. But yeah, first jug here. Well, we're getting towards the end of the run here. Just swapped out the jug and started taking product in because I can see the ABV is just starting to fall. I don't know if that's going to focus or not. I've got to get a better camera. We're just dropping below 80 now, and it's starting to drop reasonably fast, but it is starting to pick up. The temperature in the head there is 95, but the temperature in the actual thumper there is only about 82, 81, 82 on the thermometer on the front there. So just out of interest watching how fast this drops. In the past, it's not quite as fast as a reflux, the end of a reflux run, where the ABV just drops away suddenly, like drops off a cliff. But it does happen rather fast with this. So, and the other thing that gives it away that it's the end is the temperatures started going up in the boiler quite markedly. It's like I say, it's 95 in the head up there. Well, it's not the temperature in the boiler, but the temperature in the head where I take the measurement from. That's the vapour temperature at the point that it's leaving the boiler, the still there. and going down into the thumper. Yeah, that took off quite quickly, and it's as a result of being less and less alcohol inside that kettle. What generally happens is that thumper now gets driven, thumper's a parasitic boiler, gets driven by the temperature out of the heat from the kettle there, that's driven by the elements, and that will kind of hold temperature until the azeotrope of the alcohol and water in there the alcohol starts getting depleted, and then the temperature starts going up in that. And if you leave it too long, you end up getting all the fusel oils and that sort of stuff that you don't want. So it's all done and dusted now. The run's finished. Final breakdown. Initially, I took 3-quart jars, 3 of these guys, as just taking out heads and any remaining foreshots from the spirit run. You get a bit of smearing with, from the stripping run. You get a bit of smearing with stripping runs, and just by taste, I took out 3 of those guys until it started coming right and tasting good. I normally, even when I'm doing a stripping run, I go quite deep into the heads and stuff, make sure I get all the foreshots and any of the nasty sort of acrid taste out of the heads. So I really don't like those flavours at all, or those notes. So yeah, 3 quarts, and then 75 litres at between sort of 85 and 78% ABV in here. This tank's full, or this keg's full. That one's about half full. I stopped taking product in these guys after about 78, after it dropped to 78, because I have a specific recipe that I want to use that for. The stuff here is about 9 litres or so of quite clear, drinkable stuff. That was from 78% ABV down to just around 60, just under. I do my cuts by taste pretty much as it comes off the parrot, and about 60%. That was where I wanted to cut that one, and it was starting to drop like a rock at that stage as well. And over here we've got from about just 60, just under 60% by volume, down to I think I finished taking product here at this is the last stuff to come out of the thing into the parrot. About 25% ABV, and there's about 3-4 litres of product, just tails in there. That stuff there, it's got fusel oils floating on top of it. That's just murky, nasty crap, and it's quite amazing how quickly this ABV drops to just that's what the tails leftover tails is, and that's still a drinkable product that could be tempered down to some kind of whiskey, just a sugarhead grain whiskey, but still the flavour's reasonable if you drink it, and it's nice and clear. Have a look at that. The murky nastiness in this guy. The interesting thing is how your ABV differentials. When I started out, there was about 30 or 40% ABV in here, which quickly turned into about 65 over here, and was coming out of here at 80, 85. At the end of the run, just now you can see it's 25 here. It was in that thumper. Way down. It's just a couple of percent ABV going by that alchemieter there, and that was what was coming out of the kettle, or what was left in the kettle. Sorry, and the back set in there, or stillage, is it's actually reading below 0, which is just probably the solids and stuff that are left in there from the strip material. It's pushing the density. So you can see it separates the stuff out really well. So, and that's only with a single thumper. If I had the second thumper in here, like I usually do for rum and stuff, you'd probably go from a jump from about 65
to your 85 that was coming out of here, and then jump from the second thumper down to here, I'd be over 90, I imagine. Maybe that's another test to do for another time with a spirit run with 2 thumpers. I'll catch you guys later, and that's a bit of a look into thumpers and why I use them. They're a little inefficient with the amount of energy you've got to come out of this guy to drive this parasitic boiler, and then another parasitic boiler if you're using 2. But the effect and the way they separate the spirits out while still the cuts out while still maintaining a lot of flavour is, I love it. I think it's great. Happy distilling.